Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's live video about adding to your life and what that has to do with energy shopping and adding to your energy shopping list. I usually only go live for these in the Neon Sheep Facebook Lounge, and let me adjust my camera. And today I was like, oh, let's go live on YouTube as well, because we often put them up there anyway. So hi. So I like to pick different topics, like one or two a month, where I do these lives and dive in for 10, 15, try to keep it at 15 minutes about different topics. And one of my favorite things in the world to talk about is something I like to call energy shopping, which is different from like visualization of like having a picture of what you'd like to create and going for that. It's more looking for what energies would I like to add to my life that light me up, that are fun for me, that aren't defined. You know, like I have a dog in the background who's noisily chewing on a bone. We got a new puppy on Saturday, which is very timely for this topic of adding things to your life, which is what I want to talk about. Because so often we go to adding things. It could be, in this case, it was a puppy, a creature. It could be a plant in your office. It could be a new job. It could be a babysitter. It could be a side hustle or something. And what we're taught to do here is to go into thinking that it's going to be overwhelming and creating problems about that. And what we start to do is project and expect a certain future to show up. And then we make all these sorts of judgments about if that's good or bad, we made the right choice or the wrong choice, if we shouldn't have added it, if we can handle it or not, all that sort of stuff. With energy shopping and adding energies to your life, one of the differences is it's not as defined or as linear as I will add this. Well, let's take my new puppy as a wonderful example. Because he's actually a creature. So he is a new creature. He's, embodied. So I did add another being to the mix, but it's actually an energy. Well, geez, so many energies that when I asked about, okay, do I add this being into the family? Really? What would that create? And so when you're adding to your life and adding to your energy shopping list, one of the key things is to follow your knowing and not your mind. So we are so taught to make lists and pros and cons and really think. And even if you don't make a list, we go into a thinking hole about whether something is right or wrong. And I will tell you, I was so there with this choice. And here's what it looks like. You all know what it's like to start thinking and second guessing yourself and being like, I don't know if I should choose this, or, oh no, I choose this. And now I feel wrong about it. And the gift of it was, I know now, here's the thing with consciousness. If you do not know me and you're brand new, I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. So we talk about consciousness. And one of the gifts of consciousness is it's really generous. And when you ask for things to change in your life or get greater, it delivers. And if you start to look at everything that's showing up in your life as a facilitation to get you to what you're asking for, and sometimes you don't know what that is, but here's how it looked in real time was, okay, everything, like I've been very, I would say happy lately. I have a wonderful dog, older dog named Ace. If you don't know, you might know him if you follow me on social media. He's wonderful. He's like super wonder dog. 2 girls. He travels back and forth the weekends. The weeks I don't have my girls and they're with their dad, he goes with and takes care of them. It's wonderful. And then I started to notice, in addition to my youngest daughter asking for a second dog and a llama and a chicken and an armadillo, and she would like a zoo basically. But I started noticing these emails that would come from the place we got Ace that were like, hey, older puppies are easier. We have some that are really small that we hold back and we train them, and they're, already trained and they're a little tinier. And I started to just notice them. That is the energetic, what I like to call a ping or a feather touch of what's actually going, hey, look at me. So what are those feather touches or that are tapping you on the shoulder or whispering in your ear that you could listen to, that maybe you haven't trusted you or trusted your knowing, that's actually how you start engaging and interacting with the universe to find out what is true for you, what you can add to your life that would make it greater, that doesn't often make logical sense. So the universe talks energetically, right? It's actually your first language too. And we've thought ourselves in our minds out of being aware of that language, but it's actually your first language. So when I talk about energy shopping and creating, like starting to look around the world and notice things, not from a definition, but like, oh, wow, the way that like child let a butterfly land on them and like engage with it for a moment and let that go. That's like a whole energy. It's not a one thing. It's not like, oh, I want to be that age again or an animal. It's like it's an energy you're aware of. Those things that go that you just notice. What you want to start doing is just acknowledging that those are energies that you could add to your energy shopping list. And you don't have to write them down. Just by you noticing them and being present with them for a moment, you start to get clear of what is actually true for you. Adding to those, what if adding to your life wasn't about creating overwhelm like it is for so many other people? What if it actually could create greater? Everything that brings up and everything that doesn't allow you to have your own non-reality with that, would you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. If you don't know that, that's the access consciousness clearing statement. How that works is it takes all those places, those energetic limitations where you've been holding in place, like I must be overwhelmed with the more I add to my plate. And I must not, when I say non-reality, it's like your unique world that you don't have to get approval or permission or agreement from anyone else to have it. It's just like, oh, what would adding a new puppy actually create in my world? What would adding this job? What would adding this plant? What would going on vacation? What would like any of that? If you didn't have to have permission or approval or have someone else go, yeah, that's a good idea, that's a non-reality where nobody else has to align and agree. So when I run the clearing statement, it's like basically pulls out everywhere you're not allowing yourself to function from your non-reality, your awareness, and instead going with everybody else's in overwhelm. So how that looked was I started noticing these feather touches. So look in your life, where are you like, just like you happen to notice something showing up as you look on the internet, or you read a book and something stands out, or a movie and you like notice a line from it. Those are the sort of things that when you start to ask, like, universe, show me more energies that are contributive to my life, show me more things that I could add to my life, add to my energy shopping list, they'll start showing up. Just ask. You don't have to figure out how they're going to show up. They will. So I started noticing this, and then I got really excited because I got one of the emails and it had a video and a picture of this dog, and I was like, oh, I think that's the one. And there was this energy I was aware of. And this is where you want to ask questions. So I asked a lot of questions, and I had a lot of great help from my amazing Dr. Dane here. I don't even know how, he does not have a definition in my life, except a huge contribution in many ways. And we were asking questions, and it was like, will this animal, will this being be a contribution to the family? Yes. And I tapped into my younger daughter. Yes. Tapped into my older. It was like huge space of like lightness. So you ask a question, that asking a question is to get energetic clarity, not cognitive clarity. So everywhere you've been asking questions to get cognitive clarity, would you destroy and uncreate all that? Times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Questions, different from the questions and answers we are taught in school. When you really ask a question to get energetic awareness, you're not going to have a cognitive thing come up, but you'll be aware of an energy. If you're like, if that's difficult for you at times, which it is for me at times too, I'm like, I don't know, I can't tell the difference. Take a moment right now and expand out. So here you are, an infinite being in a body. Take a moment and expand out your being, like to the size of the room you're in now. And then go out 10 miles or 10 kilometers out. And then keep expanding out 100 miles or kilometers out. Now note, I'm not slowing down or stopping because you're actually this quick. Expand 1,000, 10,000 miles out in all directions, like down, up, 100,000 miles. And for me, what just happens is I relax a bit. My body sometimes gets a little bit tingly, but a lot of times I don't feel anything physically. It's just a space. From that space is where, when you ask questions for energetic clarity, it becomes a lot clearer. So I looked at, okay, adding this new puppy, what contribution will that be to our family? Will it create more ease? Is now the time? Is it now or in the future? I tend to be a futurist. So I want to make sure it's like actually, I'm not just getting excited because the picture is really cute. And I got yeses on everything, and it was light. And then I chose it. And it was one of the first times this dog is not going to go back and forth with the girls. So I'm going to have to, like, sometimes I travel for work. So then I started to go into all of the logical reasons about why this was not a good choice. So I paid the deposit for the dog. Like, okay, I'll pick it up this weekend. And then I was like, judgment. How many of you judge your choices when they haven't been approved, validated, accepted, given permission by someone else? Everywhere you're doing that, would you destroy and uncreate it? Times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. So it brought up this incredibly like heavy, weird melancholy. I just felt like, oh my God, I've done something really wrong. Should I not get the puppy? Is it going to make Ace really sad? Which you can see he's like sitting here on the floor. Like, I had all these things, like projections and expectations about what that choice, what the future it was going to create, why that was wrong, why it wouldn't work out. I now have to like pay someone to take care of a dog. Who's going to take care of that dog? Are the dogs going to miss each other? I mean, talk about a mental rabbit hole. So just so you know, if you go there, I go there probably, I go there, and I might even go there. I can go there so dynamically because I have been such a head tripper. I can be such a head tripper. And I've also realized over years of playing with this, my awareness of energy, and when I choose from knowing, that's how I've created all the magic and miracles in my life. It's never, ever been based on anything else. Oh, okay. So here's the little guy. Oh my goodness. And then Ace is like, I want to be up. But so I started to, right? So what I realized with this, and so I, cleared all that, got cleared. Like, I'm like, the energy, the knowing is yes to all of this. Like, it's actually going to create an easier time for Ace. Logically, that doesn't make sense. But I got asked questions, and when I looked at the energy, it was very, very clear. And then I let myself get in a hole with my mind about it. What if, and I realized, wow, this is one of the only times I've made a choice to add something to my life that didn't really make any sense, any cognitive sense, any, didn't have approval. Like, cause I did check in with my, my girl's dad and said, would you want this one to go back and forth to with Ace? Which is funny, cause I actually want one to be here with me. And he said no. And I was like, wow, what a gift. This is actually something I would choose for me that doesn't make any sense. And that's actually choice. So, oh, as you brought the puppy in the picture, your son started, I mean, look at him. And seriously. And, oh, so, and it wasn't like I could have waited. We didn't need another dog. It was an energy that I was aware of. So what if you started following your knowing? And this is where using the tools, actually, it comes up. I had all of this weirdness. Yesterday, took the dog to the vet. They're like, oh, the dog has roundworms. That's normal in puppies. I'm like, oh man, I got to deal with that. And then I went into this just like, what am I doing? This is so wrong. Judgment, judgment, judgment. But actually, then I was like, stop. What's the energy here? It was still all of these yeses. Cause I was like, I gave myself the choice. Like, do I give the puppy back? Is now not the right time? And I was like, that's definitely a no. It is. So what am I doing? And I looked at the energy. And what if you could follow your energetic knowing and add anything to your life that you really got, yes, this is going to create a greater future or create change. I don't know what that will be. Like, I looked at, like, is it a contribution for Ace and me and my daughters? And I was like, yes, 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 yes. Do I know what that's going to look like? No. And here's the key. If you can't picture the future, like right now I added an element of chaos. What if adding elements of chaos is actually creative and generative and ease for you and doesn't actually create overwhelm? So ever you've bought the normal reality that adding more to your life is therefore going to increase your overwhelm and your stress, would you destroy and uncreate it? Times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Because yesterday I was like, oh my God, now I have to wash the sheets because of the worms. And I got to go to the vet. And now I got to, and I was like, said he asked to do something fun. I was like, no, I got to clean up. I'm so stressed. And I was like, whoa, who am I being? Who am I being? Right. So just so like we all go there, but part of it is catching it and then going, okay, wait, this energy, whatever this is not me. I know this is not me. This doesn't feel like me, but I don't feel like I can get out of it. It feels so real. How many situations do you have that feel so real and unchangeable? What if that were actually a clue that it is not yours, not true for you, and to choose and go in another direction rather than go, I'm in a big pile of poop. This must be real. How much do you have to contract to make things real? And that's where I go back to mentioning that non-reality. When you choose from your knowing, and I love this comment. The same thing happened to me when I got a puppy. It made no sense, yet when I saw her face, it was a huge yes, and her name popped into my head. I had perceived her in my future years ago, her color, but not what kind of dog. I remember that when I saw her, it was so cool. So it doesn't, a lot of these things don't make sense, right? That's that's where the magic is. That's where it often lies. And if you trust yourself to leap, and you can always like change back. I was like, okay, I'll give myself the out. Like if something happens, I always could try to sell the dog or see. And I was like, yeah, but that's a no. But when you give yourself the choices, so you can actually look at the energy of what would that be like if I didn't choose the dog? What would it be like if I gave the dog back now that he's here? It's like all like, no, no, no. So yeah, Lorraine says, I love chaos. My hub's not so much. Well, there's chaos and then there's havoc, which is truly like just destructive, like totally disordered. But chaos is actually, what if that's actually a generative energy for all of us creative humanoids that are looking for something different? So I think I didn't finish this thought, which happens a lot. Sorry about that. But with the adding things, if you can't actually picture the future, so I could get the energy of yes, contribution, yes, greater, yes, yes, yes. But I actually couldn't see. And when you add an element of chaos, you can't figure it out. I don't know what it's going to be like, actually. Ace is now 2. My girls are, almost 10 and 13. There's a level of almost, it's always different, but there is, even for me, like a level of, I kind of know what's going on, like a level of autopilot or of a predictable future I kind of think is going to show up. Adding this little guy in, he's sleeping, there was no way I could picture or define that future. What if that's when you're actually creating your life and you're doing it because there's nothing I can project or expect? It was like, okay, I'm following my knowing, adding this to my life. And it could be an energy. You're like, I would like more energy of like exhilaration. Like I love the feeling of swimming in the ocean naked. That's exhilarating for me. Okay, I'd like more exhilaration in my life. Does it have to mean I swim in the ocean naked? No, but I know the energy. Ask for that. Everywhere that doesn't make sense to anybody else, whatever you're asking for, everywhere else it seems irresponsible. You've been called stupid for it. You're judging yourself as stupid, or you don't need it, or you don't deserve it. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Adding to your life based on an energy and nothing linear is not going to make sense to anybody else. Some people might go, that's awesome. And if you have someone like that goes, yay, I'm so happy you're choosing for you and greater, and it makes you happy and it lights you up, awesome. And if you have someone to check in like, hey, with asking questions, hey, I'm asking this, I'm getting a yes. It's like, what do you get to? Where you can, like, they really have no judgment of you. That's such a gift. But really, when I realized I can't see a future, or I don't have an autopilot once I added this guy in, that's how I knew, but I got yeses. Like, will it be contribute? Follow your knowing. That's where the magic and the miracles can show up. So if you were truly being you, who, what, when, where, why, and how would you be? And what would you choose? And if you set yourself free to choose for you, and not for anyone else's judgment, permission, acceptance in mind, what would you choose? And everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive that, would you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. One of my favorite questions is when you look at this, and if you don't have an energy shopping list, you don't have to write one down, but just start asking the universe to show you more things you could add to your life, energies you could add. And the energy can come in the form of an actual being or a thing, but it could also just be energies you start like to show up in your world. ask for them, follow your knowing when you're creating that list in your world, whether it's written or energetic. And then what whispers have you been avoiding by defending the logic of your mind rather than the ease of your energetic awareness? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Cool. So home play, ask if you have an area that seems really real and you're seeming to do like looking for someone else to approve it. Ask, that could be at work, it could be in a relationship, it could be in family. Ask, what's my non-reality with this? What could I choose today to actualize my non-reality with this? And again, you're asking those questions for energetic clarity, not logical. So you ask them and allow the universe to give you energetic clarity as it does. And it speaks in whispers and nudges and things that show up. And then see from there and just start asking, wow, what else could I add to my life? I was terrified when I started asking that question about 10 years ago, 9 years ago. My littlest one was in diapers. My other one was like 2.5. Like, why would I want to add anything to my life? I'm starting a bar, access consciousness bars business and all this and yoga teacher. And why would I want to add anything? It only got greater. Again, what if adding to your life is not about overwhelm? It's actually that chaos and creation that you thrive on. We've just made it a problem, caused yourselves to contract, wanted to make it like an issue, or made yourself sad or judge yourself for choices to be normal. No more normal. What if you didn't have to be normal anymore at all? Because all I got yesterday and this like week of, we picked him up on Saturday. I went into a judgment hole of choosing him right before, got him. It was so light and wonderful. On Saturday, Sunday, woke up. Oh my God, what am I doing? Yesterday, took him to the vet. What am I doing? Finally, by last night, had some beautiful facilitation, looked at the energy. I'm like, wow, I know I'm not being me. Who am I being me with this? And I've got some more to elaborate on this. Maybe I'll do another another live because I'm like, we've been on 20 minutes. How's it getting better than that? But adding a new creature, I was like, it's so much like adding a second child. And I was like, wow, how much is this the energy I was aware of when I'm a second of two, was not a planned kid. I'm like, wow, how much is this energy and energy I'm aware of from when I was born and what was going on with my parents and my older sister and my grandparents? You are an energetic creature. You have an energy, a situation in your life that shows up even slightly similar to somewhere else in your past. It's like going back through your archives of limitation and going, oh, there's an energy my family did. There's an energy that I'm familiar with. Oh, added a new creature, must go to depressed and melancholy and judgment and wrong and worrying about the future I'm creating. Everywhere you're going back to the archives of limitation, whether that's your family or people you grew up around or a culture, that when you actually start choosing the lightness of your reality, you go, whoa, too chaotic, too much overwhelm, must choose back to normal. Okay, where in my archives is a limitation and a limited energetic point of view of this? Oh, cool. I'll be depressed and sad and overwhelmed and worried about the future. What were you aware of when you chose it? So again, when you ask questions, what will my life be like in 5 years if I choose this? What will it be like if I don't? Expand way out. If you jumped on late, we talked about expanding out before you ask questions, 100,000 miles, so you actually can perceive the energy and you go beyond your mind. And then trust, like I was like, okay, this is a yes. I still get a yes. I don't want to return the puppy. I get a yes. This is not me. What else would I like to choose here? And have the balls to keep choosing what is true for you, no matter how crazy it looks to other people, no matter if anyone else gets it. That's your non-reality. That's why asking, what's not my non-reality with this? I mean, no one else has to align and agree with your point of view for it to exist. You just know. That is the beginning of creating a magical living. What you have showing up in your life now is comes from the energies that you are generating constantly. So when you start asking to add more to your life, add more energies, add more, like a breadth and depth of a palette of energetic awareness, what you're doing is you're generating more diverse, unique, a bigger life based on energy. That's now changed. Now give the universe a little time for your actual, like how it looks, the manifestation of that in your life and living in daily life to show up. But by you adding to your life, adding energies, you've now changed the energy. You change the energy, you change the situation that will show up. So you will actualize, you'll manifest a different life. It'll look bigger, different, bigger by adding energies and chaos, because you've expanded your world by asking for more to show up. I don't know what that will look like. That's the gift of playing with the universe. So everything that doesn't allow you to have fun with that and enjoy it and just keep adding shit to your life and energies and like be like that, I'll have that too, and that too, and that too. We destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. What if you could have so much fun with that and know that every time you do that, it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. You're asking for more. You've basically asked to be more, receive more, which then the reality of your daily life gets bigger. And I know when I go back to the archives and choose a limited energy or choose like, this must be a bad choice. So the future with him is going to be stressful and overwhelmed because I can't handle another dog. I'm like a single mom and I travel for work and doesn't make sense. I got the energy, but that's going back to like a limited, like we add those limitations and those judgments and the fear and the doubt to keep our lives small. It's a great way to do it. Is your life small, or is it enough for you? Would you like more? Even if you have a huge life right now, is it enough for you? Would you like more? What if you could keep adding? You can always keep adding. So everything that doesn't allow that, would you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Cool. I hope this was a contribution because we went almost a half hour. I was like, I'm going to keep these to 10 or 15 minutes. If you are in my Neon Sheep Lounge, I just posted the calendar for August. I'll be doing another Facebook Live in a couple months. I have an awesome telecall on Thursday, over the hill or on top of the mountain. I'd love to invite you to join. Go to my website, EmilyEvansRussell.com. You'll find it on there. It's just a one-part call about what if nothing, age, but what if nothing limited you? You didn't buy a point of view that there was any stop or limitation and everything could keep getting greater. It's kind of the same energy of like adding more no matter what and not letting anything stop you. Thank you for your feedback. I'm also starting Ladies Lounge, a 4-month program that if you end up choosing that, the call on Thursday is free. So jump in on Thursday, see if you like it, and then you'll get your money back if you join the next program too. I have lots of stuff coming up. The first ever, if you want to come to my house in Chattanooga, I have the first energy shopping immersive at my house at the end of August, if you can get here. And thank you. The next Facebook Live is on the 22nd. Anyway, I just posted the calendar in the Facebook group. You can also find my upcoming stuff on my website. But thank you guys so much. Nugget would like to say goodbye. He's going to go back to sleep. Ace is on the floor sleeping. How's it getting any easier and better than that? And keep asking those questions and adding. And then like, how much fun can we have? I hope to see you on Thursday on that call. If not, I'll see you again on one of these lives or somewhere in the world soon. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.